I'm hemming these curtains, they're quite thick. What I've done is put pins in where the curtain is to end. I've unpicked all the previous hem and there wasn't too much fabric, so I've left it on. So the pins are, there's one, there's one. So I'm folding the fabric over and pressing it so that the edge sits on the pins, and then I will fold it over again and press it so that the pins are on the edge of the hem, and then the curtain is definitely going to be the right length. A good tip would be look out for where you've got symmetry going on in your pattern. There, that's the same line as this. So if you line them up and pin, then you're not going to be off and twisted. My hem measures, what is it, about 4¼ inch, which is a good sized hem. If it's going to be more, you'd have to chop a bit off. So I'm putting my pins in quite away from the folded edge so I can get it through the machine without taking any pins out. Another thing to do, look out for repeats in the pattern. There's a bird there, there's another flower, that needs to end just on the edge. So I've got all my pins in. You might want to put more in. This is all going over to the sewing machine and it's going to go in the sewing machine, turned over like that with that folded edge. That's where we're going to sew. The foot that you need to use should look something like this. The stitch that you need to use, let me see. You've got these two, number 9 and number 10. Number 10's an extra stretchy one for stretchy fabrics, which you probably wouldn't need for curtains. So I'm selecting number 9. And then, because my fabric's quite wide, I need to make my stitch a bit wider. That length's fine, but you've also got quite a lot of scope here for adjusting. So the finer the fabric, the less you need to be catching in. So now I've selected my stitch, I'm going to put my fabric in. So this is what you need to control. You need space to do your zigzag stitches, and then every few stitches it's going to just catch a little bit there. I'm going to start with just a finishing stitch, start and finish, so nothing comes undone. Actually, I stand up when I do this, I think I get more control. So you organise your first few inches. See, that's too wide. Still in the border there. I'm going to show you the reality. Let's go slow. When that goes over, it needs to be catching in the fabric. So I'm going to do a few inches and then I'm going to check. Got a button on my machine that will mean that the needle always stays in when I lift my foot off. No, you see, that's not caught. So I have to go wider. And take the needle out. Go back to the beginning. I mean, if you were making your curtains, you could use a spare piece of fabric to do this. as could I, but I'd have to have a rummage for one because I need something that's about the same thickness as these. Each time you do curtains, you need to adjust your settings so that that stitch that goes across just catches the cloth, this folded edge. Start again. Right, I'll go a bit slow. So it does about 4 stitches in between. You see, it needs some fabric here to work on. If you're getting buckles and it's not lying flat, you do need to just stop, maybe unpick what you've got, because your pins are there to make sure that you've got the fabric flat, and your curtains need to go through the top and the bottom at the same time or they'll be twisted. And if you can pull it quite taut, but don't stop it from going through the machine. So I have hold of the back, I have hold of the front as well, but you can't see my hand. Whoops. So I'm holding it quite taut, but it is going through the machine at its own pace. So with a thicker fabric like this, it is catching in. Every time the zigzag goes across, it's catching in. And you can't particularly see it from the other side. So, job is a good one. So the linings, I've sewn them how they were, and it was just a flat stitch through. The linings should be at least 1 inch shorter than your curtain. Then the curtain hem, you can see a little zigzag on this side. That's the hem. This is where you were stitching. And it's caught in. Every little zig should have just gone into the main fabric on the front. We'll turn that over. I haven't pressed it yet. All you need to do now is join the lining and the main fabric together again. Turn it all back through and then miter the corner where you'll just tuck that corner in and put a couple of stitches there to keep it in place.